Coach, a third win in a row, and you guys had to battle again, tied going into the third period. What was the main message there, just to try and get them going and break that tie?
I said all week it's a tough game. Every game in the CCHA this time of year is tough, and for me it was you win a period, you win yourself a hockey game. We're in a good position, right? Tie game. Sure we'd like to be up. I'm sure everybody would, but at the end of the day, if you still control the outcome. So for us, it was win a period, win yourself a hockey game. It's a big 3 points, and I wouldn't say it was our most, I guess, I didn't think we really made a ton of plays tonight. I think we had a lot of opportunities to, I think, kind of create some separation, and we didn't. That's a good club. You got to play on the inside. But at the end of the day, this time of year, if you get a win, like I told the guys, let's enjoy it here tonight. Let's get it, back in the morning, get your rest, get your recovery, and let's learn from it tomorrow and come out and we got to raise the bar, not against them, but for our own standard and expectation.
Quinn scoring that quickly, really kind of showing where this team was preparedness-wise and just energy-wise, coming out buzzing that way.
Well, it was great, except we didn't score the next 39 minutes. That's the only downfall. It's a 1-1 game. Sometimes the first goals aren't like that quick, from a coaching standpoint. It's they can go one way or another, and they weathered the storm, there in the first period, and probably went in feeling pretty good, especially giving up that early goal. But they got a good goalie. They're big, strong, heavy, everything we know about them, and we didn't do a great job offensively, I think, getting them spread out. They did a really good job swarming us quickly, keeping us in a quadrant, eliminating our, and any movement, off it. So a couple things we got to change, but it was a good hockey game.
How'd you feel like Cole bounced back after Barone's goal? A bit of a tough one there in the second period.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, a lot there. Hey, that kind of happened. It wasn't a great gap by our D. Tough turnover, not a great gap, and Cole was outside the net quite a bit off his angle off that, right? So, if you have a trifecta of mistakes like we did on that play, it probably ends up in the back of your net. So. We got to make some, we need to make some other adjustments prior to that, but that's definitely one I'm sure Cole would tell you he'd want that back for sure.
How did you feel like the team battled? Face-off wins seemed to be heavily in your favor today. And
Were
of course,
they?
peppering them with shots, too.
Yeah.
They were able to win those battles.
Let's talk about a cooler stat. No penalties.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm scared to ask.
Well, everyone has no real question about our discipline. So I'm waiting for everyone to tell us how great they were not taking a penalty, off it. I've never been in a game like that. I think that was the first time I ever coached a game in junior hockey or college, and they only had one, which was too many men. There was no infractions, off it. So Vince has some homework to get our fans an update of when that happened last. He's going to work on it right now, everybody, and it'll be out by midnight tonight. But that's pretty crazy, eh? So, but going back to face-offs, pretty good on the face-offs, right? If you can win face-offs, that is right under 60%. So, anytime you're above 50, if you're in the 60 to 65 range, you're probably right at a really good number that you get to influence the next play and have puck possession. That's what you're trying to do. So, real good job.
When was the last time you saw a takedown goal like that?
A lot of things happened tonight for the first time. Hey, like I've been involved in one like that, but. Not to that. I didn't know if he was going to signal it or not. It was kind of like, like a delay signal, like of anticipation for the crowd. It was like a build up, like are we counting it? And then he gave the, like, all right, perfect.
I just got one. What do you think your guys' ability to react to their transition and their stretch plays? They were going to the stretch a lot, especially in the first period, and they just weren't clicking, but they were going for them.
Yeah, flipping pucks. That's hard. The thing that saves us is we have a low ceiling, so maybe they can't play right to their game sometime. But that's a new wave of playing a lot. You're watching a lot of pro hockey guys, are flipping a bit. They got the high ceilings. In our rink, you're not going to be afforded that opportunity. But it's tough for D to go back on a bouncing puck under pressure. Your edges, there's a lot going on off that, right? So we got to do a better job, though. Both D working back to support each other on it. You don't want to leave one guy out on an island. So some of adjustment we definitely got to make.
Seemed like a pretty full student section tonight. couple of weeks we'll have a sold-out crowd for the Notre Dame series. What's it like recently playing in front of the fans here at the Slater Family Ice Arena?
Yeah, the last couple of games have been great, and obviously having the students all back, fun, and it's a tough venue to play in. I'm hoping that we can continue to deliver a fun, exciting product, winning product out there, and we sure love seeing the students and the fan base and Bowling Green and the surrounding areas and the university support out there, and our guys, I tell you all the time, we don't take it for granted. It is definitely something they love playing in front of and playing here, and be able to sing the alma mater song at the end and have the fan engagement offer. Like it really encompasses, I think, what makes Bowling Green a really special place to play.
Despite having no penalties, it felt like your team set a pretty physical, pretty aggressive game. Were you happy with your team's physicality tonight?
Yeah, maybe we weren't physical. I think you just called them out on it. No. Yeah, it was pretty good, right? I thought there was hits both ways. I thought the refs were great. I don't know, one penalty, man. You gotta like that. That's old school, right? Off it. And if there was any real vicious hits, they would have called it, right? But like this time of year, sometimes they get too involved. Like just let the guys play, and if there's a warranted, like if there wasn't a too many men call, and the fact they called that, how nervous it was for us in the third on line changes, because you're like me to Kevin away, and you're not sure if you should hop yet. Normally you would not even think about it, but because you've already been rewarded a power play due to too many men, you just don't want to give one back to them. So it was, our guys played hard. They battled hard. We had some big block shots down the stretch, and it was great to obviously see a nice play by Dalton off the glass, to a stretch out Tyler Hodson, who tried to cut back, and he got that crazy goal no shot, right?
Coach, a couple of questions that we asked Brett and Quinn when they were in here. The first one, stretch passing. They tried to stretch the ice quite a bit today, snuck behind the D a couple of times. I think a couple of breakaways in the second. Just what did you see there from your defensemen? I know you mentioned in press conference trying to strengthen their
probably
defense.
Puck watching, hey? Like, do you ever go to horse races? I love horse races. It's one of my favorite things on Sundays to go to. My grandfather raced sulkies, right? And racehorses, they wear blinders for a reason. And as a defenseman, the only thing you can't do is live in this world, right? So you got to have your head on a swivel, know your, surroundings, 180 degree shoulder checking. And if you get that tunnel vision and puck vision, kind of like what a racehorse does, he's just looking for the finish line. If you live in that world, you kind of lose a guy back here, right? So we just got to do a little better job counting how many jerseys are ahead of you. If you count 4, there's probably one in a wrong spot, right? So we got to be a little better. First team we've played in a long time that kind of flies that many guys. So as much as you prep for that, it's a whole different thing when a team starts doing it.
Yeah, and then also they mentioned getting to the areas that you guys like to play, especially in front of the crease more. It seemed like there was a lot of opportunities, a lot of pucks that cleared across the slot like that. Just how'd you feel those opportunities were set up, and then trying to get people into those areas to score?
We should have had a couple tap-ins there, I think, too, right? I think one right at, was it Dominic Ryman or to Brody maybe there, and the one back door to Benny Duran? Like those, and it's not from a lack of trying, it's they're great plays by them, often, and that's hockey. That's what you get when you're, in college, you'd see that in the National Hockey League too. But we did a much better job to beat these guys, especially with their goaltender. You got to score second and third opportunities. For the most part, like we scored that one short side, Pfoh did. That's probably a little fortunate puck luck. That doesn't go in too often on him. I think he's saving about 22 to 25 expected goals that should be in his net. He's saved this year, above and beyond, which is a crazy number. So we're going to have to adjust a little bit tomorrow, do a much better job of creating better offense and more quality chances. But as long as we go to those tough areas and you want to get in there, we're going to have second, third chances.
Quinn, what a jump to this game tonight. A minute in, you guys were buzzing early, and you get the early goal. What led to coming out of the locker room so strong and getting the early goal tonight?
Anytime you can get a jump on him like that, it feels really good. Honestly, it almost felt too good. I felt like we were pretty comfortable after that. But anytime you get a start like that, it really just helps us a lot with energy and everything.
Brett, they had a pretty solid second period. Did you see them start to even push back, though, a little bit late in that first, too?
I think they probably didn't love the start of the game they had, especially given Q scored so quick. They're a good team, and they're gonna push back when things aren't going their way. So I think they did have a good second. I think we were a bit on our heels, but I think we sorted out a bit in the third, and fortunately went our way.
You get your shot there from the left side, sneaks one pass. What were your thoughts? I mean, just the definition of putting it on the net.
Yeah, they don't ask how, I guess. Got lucky. I couldn't even really tell, and then the lights went off. I was like, oh, there we go. I'll take those. But it's always nice to see one go in. I'll leave it at that, I guess.
Quinn, you saw a good effort again. You know, Coach had talked a lot about this team defensively making big plays as well, and it seemed like there were a ton of block shots again, helping out Cole tonight as well.
Yeah, like we know they have one of the top goalies in the nation, and that's for a reason. They played really good defensively, and I think we're a little bit on the outside. And tomorrow we need to get on the inside, get to the rebounds. They were there tonight, and I think if we get to the inside, we'll have a lot more success there.
No penalties tonight for you guys, too. What was the key to that? Still playing a physical game, but no penalties tonight.
Yeah, I think it just kind of went our way that night. Willie was saying that was the first time he's coached a team, and there's never been a penalty. You hate being in the box, so it's kind of something we've struggled with a little bit this year, and getting a clean sheet like that's always nice.
They were continuously trying to stretch the ice in the first period. What adjustments as forwards were you making to try to counter that?
I think we kind of talked about it during the intermission. Just we need a better F3, and D, we need to make sure we were talking on the bench, letting them know that it seemed like they were just stretching, trying to go off the glass and get breakaways, and we kind of communicated that, and we got to sort that out a little bit better tomorrow.
Also, in your own end, their defense pinched down quite a bit. How's the communication on that? And do you try to look for reverse, or do you just try to balance it out? What are you looking for?
Yeah, it's a high pressure play getting the puck on the wall there when that defenseman's coming down. Worst case, you just want to eat it a little bit, take a hit and try and make a battle and kind of chug it up along the wall. But if they're pinching and you don't get a chance to get a shoulder check, it is really hard for a winger. So I think they did a good job of jumping down on us, and I mean, it showed a little bit. We probably had too many turnovers on our wall in our zone, and something we're looking to clean up tomorrow. Maybe we'll have to use the glass a little more, or maybe we will use a little bit of a reverse, like you said. There's recipes to go around that, but we'll have to regroup and talk about it for tomorrow.
Since coming back from winter break, you have won 4, lost 1. What's happened since coming back from winter break?
I think that tune-up game against USNTDP was big for us before Ohio State, and I think the momentum from the Ohio State game was just big. I know, we're both seniors. That was our first time getting Ohio State since we've been here, and I think we kind of just built momentum. The fans are coming in full force. The town seems to be a little bit alive for hockey right now, so we're kind of feeding off of all the energy around the town, and hopefully it keeps turning into wins.
Speaking of the fans, seem to be an almost full student section tonight. Now in a couple of weeks there'll be a sold-out barn for the Notre Dame series. What's it like recently playing in front of these fans?
Like Brett said, I think the town and the students are just supporting us great right now, and it's so hard to play in the Slater, especially when an away team comes in, and I think it's probably the hardest barn to play in the whole NCAA, I'd say. We just get so much energy from the crowd, and it's just so fun to play in.
Guys, to both of you, just 3 games in a row now of just 1 goal allowed. Cole with 2 of those and the one today. Just how has it been playing in front of him, and how well he's played in that for you?
Yeah, it's really good to see Morsey. Honestly, he probably didn't have the start he wanted this year, but there was never we never faltered on him. We know he's a great goalie, and it's really exciting for our group to see him stopping pucks the way he is, because that makes us feel really confident. I mean, he's massive. You don't see much net coming down on him, and if he can keep stopping the puck the way he is, I think it'll give us a chance later in the season.
And then last week as well, the first game it felt like the offense was a little bit slow, and then second game it took off. Is there anything you guys are thinking about last week going into the second game, and then trying to take into the second game this week and trying to do the same?
I think we were talking about it after the game, just getting to the inside. Like, we weren't in the inside tonight, and that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow. We're definitely going to be a volume shot team, and there's going to be rebounds there, and we just got to be stronger than them and finish them. So.
Recent games since the turn of the year, both games against Ohio State, and tonight going into the third period in a tight contest. How are you guys able to not blink in the face of that?
I think camaraderie. The group is so tight. I think when we get into those tight games towards the end of the game, going into the third, we really lean on each other. I mean, I've been a part of a lot of teams, and all 4 of my years in Bowling Green have been great, but this year is pretty special. We're really tight, and we can really get on each other and lean on each other, and even shout at each other sometimes, but it always comes back to positive outcomes, and I think just leaning on the friendships you got in the room is a huge advantage for us.